my client is complaining about that this is just a farce exercise or that he won't get a fair trial. It's based on his experience at the hands of the commission. That lack of trust arises.
Evidence leader Adila Hassim says the concerns are misplaced as the commission doesn't publicize witness statements until the day of their oral testimony.
There's never been a breach of confidentiality thus far, not in relation to this witness or in relation to any other witness.
Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
The supporters of the leader of the International Pentecostal Holiness Church have accused police of heavy-handedness in dealing with the group which gathered outside court today. Michael Sandlana and his co-accused appeared in the Pretoria Specialized Commercial Crimes Court today. Outside court, his supporters clashed with police over his continued incarceration. Sandlana was refused bail by the court due to pending assault cases and allegations that he resisted arrest. Sandlana is accused of bribing disgraced Pretoria High Court Judge Portia Pahlane with 2.4 million rand to rule in his favour in the church's succession battle. The state has labelled him a danger who may interfere with witnesses if released. Supporter spokesperson Miles Budu says police are to blame for the clashes which took place this morning.
They should have read the situation and used their discretion, because the people didn't come here with violence. They didn't come here armed. But I have a problem, of course, with the training the police got then. Seemingly it has boiled over to the training that they are still getting in the 21st century. It is really a shame.
The EFF believes the Western Cape High Court's judgment on value-added tax will bolster its case against the fuel levy. The court has found the powers accorded to the finance minister to unilaterally decide on the VAT rate to be unconstitutional and invalid. The DA brought the case against Minister Enoch Godongwana during last year's budget process, and the EFF joined in on that case. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The High Court says the DA's case has vindicated an important constitutional principle, that the power to impose, reduce or abolish taxes resides with Parliament. The EFF says the judgment affirms the party's position that there should never be taxation without representation, and the ability to increase taxes should not be determined by an individual. The EFF is of the view that Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has been misguided by his Treasury officials, whom the party believes panders to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. The party says the court's ruling on VAT should support its case against the Finance Minister to increase the fuel levy in the final 2025 budget in an attempt to recoup some of the revenue he had hoped to generate through increasing the VAT rate in the first iteration of the budget. After a 16 cents increase in 2025, this year the levy on petrol goes up by 9 cents. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Cape Amalgamated Taxi Association has condemned the torching of 9 minibus taxis at the Nyanga taxi rank. Fire crews were called to the scene in the early hours of this morning. The cause of the blaze is still unknown and no injuries have been reported. Carter Secretary Nkululeko Sityebi says if the blaze was deliberately started, those responsible must face the law. He says it's the second such incident affecting the association.
It is so sad to experience this type of acts at Carter region. Remember, it's not the first incident that took place. It's the second one whereby our members are losing their vans because of somebody decided to wake up at night and torch the vehicles.
And the British government has arrested 4 people on suspicion of spying for Iran. According to reports, the men allegedly spied on locations and people linked to London's Jewish community. The men include 1 Iranian national and 3 dual British Iranians. The counterterrorism head says the arrests form part of a long-running investigation. Gold is trading at $5,099.18 an ounce. The rand is at 16.67 to the dollar, 22.23 to the pound, 19.29 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $85.41 a barrel.
In Boksburg, heading towards Brakpan roadworks, still slowing down traffic on the N17 eastbound between Rondebold and Heidelberg Road. That's approaching Carnival City. While in Lenasia, there's slow-moving traffic on the R554 Abu Bakr Drive between Nirvana Drive and the N12. You can still look out for those faulty traffic lights in Lone Hill at Lone Hill Boulevard and Main Road.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with thunder showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN, the lawyers for controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim say he does not trust the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry to protect him.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. Happy Friday on the 6th of March. Yo, guys, it is the perfect time for us to be going into a weekend, especially with what the weather has been like. But come and have fun with us on the show today. We're talking Frank's Burgers and Ribs. I'm so looking forward to this conversation. And this actually came from you, our listeners, saying please have them on the food feature. So, of course, if you ever want to recommend anything in terms of content, restaurants, artists, topics on the show, 702 Afternoons at 702.co.za. Then we are chatting to Rain in our 702 Afternoons Unplugged, singer-songwriter and multidisciplinary performer. So we'll be entertained. And then the upside of failure, folks, the legend, the icon that is Mr. Mfundi Vundla will be joining us, renowned South African TV producer, writer, media entrepreneur, and of course, the man behind Generations, one of the longest running successful soapies we have in Mzansi. So make sure you're with us. Get in touch, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. 702
Food Feature.
Food feature time right here on 702 Afternoons. And I'm so excited that we have a spot that is doing things differently, but more importantly, their food is super, super good. Frank's Burgers and Ribs. And we're joined in studio by founder Frank's Burgers and Ribs, Jonathan Eager. And yes, we are going to ask him, why is it not called Jonathan's Burgers and Ribs? 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. Welcome. Thank you for coming through.
Hi, Relebogile, you well?
I'm good.
Good, thank you for having us.
Who's Frank?
So let's answer that first question of yours. Why is it not called Jonathan's? I think if I called it Jonathan's, I wouldn't get a day off.
Because now you have to be the mascot
Exactly.
and everything. Yes,
exactly. So Frank's was named after my granddad. We thought we'd just give a little bit of props back to him. He's quite an amazing man, and it landed on him.
Why your granddad? What made him so special?
No, he's just a legend. He's actually still around. He's 92.
Wow, strong man, eh?
No, he's strong. He visits us. He basically visits us on Sundays, and Yeah, we don't have enough money to pay him royalties yet, so we just feed him lunch.
So he can get his plate to have
Exactly.
his name there. In terms of his relationship with your food journey, is there any connection?
Yeah, look, I mean, he was in restaurants when he was quite younger, up in Polokwane. And
What?
yeah, life is a strange thing. He sort of
Yes.
started out in restaurants, and he ended up being fitter and turner at one stage, and he's just a hustler, which is pretty cool.
And what would you say some of the things you observed growing up are key takeouts that you watched him do that you implement today?
Yeah, I think it's just values. You gotta be honest. You have to make sure that you're doing the best you can, especially when it comes to our food, and just getting real, honest reactions out of the customers is what gives us joy, really.
If you look back at your own personal journey with your relationship with food, when did it become something that you knew is going to have a special place in your life beyond just eating and, getting energy?
Yeah, I've since I was quite young, I always found myself in the kitchen or around the braai, and it's just one of those things. I really enjoy feeding people, and just getting that emotion out of them of something that I've created is just mind-blowing for me.
So your career, talk to us about, you knew at some point that this is something you might want to do, but when did it become real?
Yeah.
And how was it different from the plan? Because there's so many people like, I knew I love food, but then I ended up being an accountant, and then I just decided to pivot one day.
Yeah, I think, look, straight after school, I went and I did the South African thing. I did a gap year. And
In the UK.
100%.
So different. This is just so unique.
So, yeah, look, I mean, I went on a gap year, and I came back 5 years later. Parents weren't too happy about that one. They wanted me to come back.
How
and
did you
study.
1 year become 5 years, and what were you doing?
Oh, we were just having a blast. We lived pretty much.
Were you working in a pub?
Yeah, basically I started washing dishes in a restaurant, and
Yes.
from there we moved on to, doing odd jobs in the kitchen. Never really chef though, but worked in a lot of restaurants, worked in some
Yes.
bars as well. And yeah, that was the basic kickoff for me, I believe, yeah.
What did you learn from that experience? Because especially when we talk restaurants, owning a business, the part of washing dishes, there are some serious lessons in that discipline that feed into the bigger picture. Chat to us about those 5 years and what you've learned, especially thinking about the listeners who maybe want to start their own restaurants or even just start something new and them working their way up.
Yeah, look, I always believe that, if you know every cog in your business and you've actually had hands-on experience in those cogs, that respect that comes from people that are learning, it just comes naturally, because you can direct them in the right way instead of just bossing the guys around, and that's the main philosophy at Fanks. Everybody starts at the bottom, so there's nobody that's been hired from a senior position. Everybody started either as a waiter or as a sculler, and they've just all gathered knowledge like along the journey. I mean, John with me, that's with me here in the studio today. He's a phenomenal human being. I've known John probably 15, 20 years, I guess. And he's also started at the bottom and now he's on the top, I guess.
And we're gonna chat to John shortly. Tell me a little bit more about what it's actually taken to get to this place. And I'm curious about the research part, because there are those who just start and learn along the way. And then we get those who, once you're like, actually, I want to do this thing, and you have an idea, you start researching, and then the idea has to sort of evolve based on the information you gain. So let's say it's, okay, Wagyu's really expensive, so let's not add that to the menu.
Yeah, I think, it's so difficult to create something that people enjoy. And I think my target was to try and get people to the restaurant more than once a week. So if you look at how our menu's designed, we've got burgers, ribs, and pizza, and we've obviously got a couple of specialty items as well. But it's the common foods that people, eat weekly, and we've just decided to sort of go back to old school, like actually cook in a restaurant. There's no stuff that's really bought in. A lot of our bread roll, basically all the stuff that has a dough component is made in store. So we bake our own rolls, we do our own cold fermented pizza dough, we smoke all of our own meat. So those are the little levels that we've just decided to like ramp it up a bit.
Can you share with us, because you're touching on things that people that don't know the restaurant world, can you share with us the context of, in an ideal world, you want to see what Jamie Oliver does in every place. Something fresh ingredients, fresh this, but that's not the reality.
No.
Share with us the reality and what you decided to change up, and maybe share the reason behind it, because even though many restaurants are doing it, it's not to bash them or anything. That is a standard industry practice where a lot of things come in from head office or from suppliers. Yes. So maybe just share a bit of context with us.
Yeah, so, I look at it as whatever you can get locally is always a win. It depends on how it's farmed and where it's sourced from. That obviously depends on the price. But, if you're really willing to have a little bit of a deep dive and understand what you're trying to do. Like with our burgers, we've got a special recipe on the mince, and I've really dived deep into that process. It's not just mince that you can buy off the shelf.
Yes.
It's something that's created for us specifically by our butcher, and it just speaks leaps and bounds, compared to the products that are out there currently.
And it's easy in the sense that bread rolls you can just order, have the baker deliver them fresh every day, but you opted, and I have to be honest, guys, and I'm not even lying, I could taste that they were not average burgers that you get. They're very specific. Let's talk about the buns and what you opted for, because it had a slight sweetness, a bit of brioche to it. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so we've got a recipe that we created, and it's half Japanese milk bread.
Oh!
It's half brioche bun. Look, there's obviously a little bit of extra love
that
goes into that one.
I needed to know what it is, because even the way
I'm giving away my secrets here.
Even the way the bun absorbs the flavors, it's not the same. How did you figure that out? Like, were you doing test runs and tasting and taste? Like,
so
how did you get there?
So how we figured it out was thousands and thousands of bad ones.
And then who did you bring to be your tester?
Oh, man, it was so classic. In the shop, we obviously had a bun supplier when we started, and I was just like, our buns aren't traveling well at the time, and they were getting soggy, and it wasn't.
Sorry,
it wasn't
when
great.
You mean traveling well, you mean when they come to you, when you send to customers?
100%. So when we do our call and collect, as soon as the customers get home, then the buns were soggy, and it was just a complaint that we didn't really need, and that just drove us into a little bit of a engineering phase, and it was pretty classic, because through those first couple of weeks when we were baking our own rolls, all the customers that were in the shops were just getting free rolls. And they were absolutely loving it. So free rolls for school, that was just one of our little exits that we had, and it just helped us not eat thousands of bad rolls.
And then how did you decide when it was worth the extra cost and time as opposed to the convenience? Because you're still a business at the end of the day. You still have to pay bills and pay Frank.
Yeah. Don't say that too loud, please. But yeah, I think, I think it just comes down to the core beliefs that we have, that production time in the morning, yes, it does take us a bit of time, and the dough does have to ferment in the fridge for 4 days before we make a pizza, but the results are just so much worth it,
Yes.
So we'd rather take things a bit slower and not just mass produce things. We'd rather make sure that it's good and it's healthy, number one. There's only a few ingredients in there. There's no preservatives, there's none of that stuff, which is good.
I'm hijacking John, who's back of house manager. If you can just get closer to your mic. There we go. John, you're sitting so quietly, but I feel like you are the one baking all these rolls.
Yeah, at first I started baking them.
Yes.
And then I passed the knowledge to the other guys.
And what have you learned in this journey at Frank's Burgers and Ribs?
So, like you said before, I've known him for a couple of years, more than 20 years.
Yes.
So, I've learned a lot. I started as a scullery as well, as a dishwasher, but I keep on growing, learning new things. Whatever you knew, it transfers to me. So, I know a lot now.
When you started to work your way up, was it tough for them to convince you to go to the next level, or were you the one saying, I'm ready?
So whenever I'm doing my things, I make sure that I do it right and put more effort on it. So whenever they see that I'm ready to move on the next, they'll promote me to move me on the next thing.
And then you go from washing dishes, then you food prep. When did you get the opportunity to start coming up with your own ideas? Because I would imagine a chef also has to follow rules. But the fun part is when they say, give me something.
Yes, that's really the fun part of having a lot of challenges. So when they give you that power that you can do your own things, you can start giving us some ideas. That's where the things start happening. So as I started as a scholar, I moved on to bar. I worked as a barman.
So you also can make cocktails using ice and soft drinks.
Yes. Like I said, I've learned a lot.
Yes.
And then I moved to the kitchen as well. I became a chef and keep on growing. I moved to pizza section, making pizzas. And then I moved on to management. And when I was in management, that is when I started creating things with Jonathan and like our buns. Like you said before that we taste the sweetness of our buns, of our burgers. You can see that in our burgers, we even have our deals. We do it ourselves. We don't buy deals. So only buy cucumbers and then make our own deals for ourselves.
Listen, I can taste it. It's house-made. Be honest. When Frank comes once a week, do you add extra special things to his plate that customers don't get?
No.
We need to know because I feel like I need to come and taste Frank's plate. You adding extra things.
So customers are always important to us because they're the ones that pays our bills. They're the ones that put food on our tables. So we don't do anything special for Jonathan. If he orders something or a friend or someone, we do just the same as what we do with the customers.
You must keep John, hey? You must. Even the owner can't come in and say, please make mine special. He's like, yay, we're making for the customers. Please can we talk about your menu and how you decided what to keep and what goes? We know that ribs in Johannesburg in Gauteng can actually be quite competitive. But I absolutely loved that you stuck to the traditional barbecue style. I don't know if it's more Louisiana, but it's got that sweetness, the smoke. It is coming off the bone, so you're not doing something ready-made. You've developed something. Also, just in terms of, guys, the brisket on the bun with the coleslaw, the coleslaw. That was, I thought the dunked wings were my favorite. It's like a honey soy dunked wing situation. So good, but that bun. So how did you decide what stays and what goes?
Yeah, so I think when you do your first menu run, you always believe that you've got 100% winners, and unfortunately you don't. You have to look at your PLU sales. You need to decide, okay, is it worth keeping this item on? Are we making enough revenue out of it? And we now on probably our third menu rendition now, and my thing is, what I do is I take the bottom 5 sellers, and I remove those in each category.
Could you just come slightly?
Yes, sorry.
There we go.
So what I do is I take the bottom 5 sellers.
Yes.
in each category. Might be loaded fries, might be burgers, might be ribs.
Yes.
And what we do with those is we remove them, or if we feel that we can re-engineer them, we do. But we normally remove them and replace them with brand new ideas. And like brand new ideas, I mean, we've now started our new menu. Hopefully, if all goes well, should be out in about the next 6 weeks. And we've already started all of our research between myself and John, and we've got WhatsApp groups flying with ideas from here and ideas from there and flavors. And so it's fun 6 weeks ahead of us. But so you can't always be emotionally connected to these things. I mean, if you feel really, really strong about our beef short rib, but it's not really doing well, it's not performing, then we just have to get rid of it, unfortunately. But our
I've
beef
had
rib
many
is
of those
phenomenal.
moments where you're like, what happened to this thing? They're like, no, it's not. Okay, in terms of all of the other menu items, what else can people expect when they go in there?
So we've got a beautiful list of starters. We do like cheeseburger spring rolls. We do there's a whole bunch of onion rings. So when you sit down, complimentary, you normally get onion rings for free. So when you sit down, you get onion rings complimentary. But so there's a whole bunch of sides. We've got loaded fries. We've got burgers. We've got smoked ribs. We've got beef ribs. We've got the list is ending. I mean, there's just so much. Pizzas. We do a thing called a manwich as well. So that is a pizza dough that we shape out probably to about a medium size.
Yes.
Brush it with a little bit of olive oil and garlic. We fold it on top of itself. Put it into the pizza oven. It bakes its own fresh bun, and then we take all of our pulled meat. So we've got pulled
I
pork.
almost ask if it's a calzone, but you do the ingredients after. So it's got the crunch.
So it bakes this beautiful fresh roll. And it's amazing. I mean, most of our salads, you can ask not to have a bread bowl, but our salads come baked in a freshly baked bread bowl. So, it's just my little throwback to the people on diet. You're never going to say no to that fresh piece of bread.
It's still a salad.
Yes.
Where can people find you, your physical spot, and where can they find you on the socials?
Perfect. So socials is Frank's RSA. That would be Instagram and Facebook. And then our webpage is obviously www.franksburgers.co.za. And then physical address is number 19 Bram Fisher, and we're in Blairgowrie. So we're on the edge, Blairgowrie, Linden Extension.
In terms of what people can look forward to in the future, and before you say that, I have to read this. I'm excited about what I'm hearing. I'm definitely coming to taste it. The cardboard-like textures I used to get, I never order a burger except at one establishment near us. So basically, they're excited for all fresh, in-house made ingredients. What can people look forward to outside of the new menu?
Oh, yeah. So next week, I think it's next week, Saturday, we've got our burger eating competition. So we offer a 10,000 Rand cash prize. We had it last year.
What do you have to do?
So you got to eat 10 burgers. So what we do is we put 10 burgers on a plate in front of you. Nobody's had 10 burgers yet. Last year the record was 6.
Yes.
And the burgers are quite sizey. So our champion last year ate 6 burgers in 10 minutes, and he won himself a 10,000 Rand cash prize.
So is it about how many you can eat within a certain period of time?
Exactly. Yeah.
How many have you done?
So I don't think I'm fit for that challenge.
And it's a whole thing. Like, I know it's not as big in South Africa as it is in the US, but you'll meet the tiniest girl that is the one beating. So people must go to the socials and look out for that opportunity. 10,000 Rand cash, my goodness. But you have to try and finish up to 10 burgers in 10 minutes. That's Frank's Burgers and Ribs. Jonathan and John, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's 1 o'clock. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. The SAPS has established 2 specialized units to strengthen the fight against organized crime in Gauteng. The formation of the units is part of a broader organized crime strategy. The first unit is the replication of the Political Killings Task Team and will focus on the probes of political assassinations, while the second unit will be focusing on crimes related to